of today's lesson is going to be showing you how to insert grades into the gradebook or use the optional Schoology sync. Now, the preferred method to insert your grades would be to directly enter them into the PowerTeacher Pro gradebook. This way, you don't have any issues with syncing and anything that could possibly be messed up with the sync, or you're relying on somebody else or other software to work. So my option would be to tell you to directly enter your grades, but I know some of you who are religious Schoology users definitely want to have that sync option. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen. And here you should see all of this. I'm sorry. And so I have my PowerTeacher Pro gradebook pulled up. So this is where I come in to take attendance, but I'm going to enter PowerTeacher Pro. I only have one class. This is just a sample class I'm using. Make it a little larger for you all so you can see everything. Okay, so I'm in my class. You see no assignments are currently there. I need to go back and I need to select Q1 because we're currently in Q1. And I need to hit the plus sign to create an assignment. So I'm going to go ahead and create the assignment. Now my assignment name is going to be Practice 1. My category, they should already be there for you. Depending on your school, it's major, minor. You may be at a school that have major, minor, and homework, but it should be major and minor. So since this is just a practice assignment, I'm going to select minor. Now, I am only going to check off the one class that I'm assigning this to. In the past, you could pull down and select all your classes. Now, it will allow you to do that, but herein lies the problem with that. In the end, if you ever have to go back and make a grade correction, then all classes that have this assignment have to be unlocked. So what I'm only going to do is assign it to one class at a time. I'm going to create this. So I've selected my class. It's the one class that I'm teaching. It's going to be points out of 100 points. And your due date is set here. Now, say you have a student that's going to be exempt from this assignment. You can go to students and I can show all. And then I can uncheck students that don't need this assigned to them. This is also what you would go in to do when you need to drop a grade for a student. Because there is no drop button, you would have to go back and edit the assignment, go to students, show all, and uncheck the student who no longer needs the assignment. So I'm going to do that. I can also go to the standards tab and attach the standards associated with this course. So this is a technology course. So the technology standards are here. I can check here, and where it says count and grade, this will help calculate a standards grade for your students. We don't include that on our report cards, but you can do that if you would like. And then the publish, if I want to publish the assignment immediately, and I also want to publish the scores. Once I do this, it'll be available in the parent portal. So I'm going to go ahead, and I'm actually not going to publish it immediately because this is something. The assignment set to count in the final grade yet never published, but the only reason I'm doing that is because this is a live class and I don't want parents to see that it's not, but you will actually release it immediately on a specific date. So I'll hit never and save and close for myself, for my purposes. So now I have entered this here and it says I can score the assignment. So if I'm ready to score it, I can go ahead and score it, or I can close this out. Then later on, if I come back and want to enter the grades, I can do that. I can click on here and simply enter the score of the assignment. So if they got 100, I can do that. I can enter it manually going down 90, or if I want to fill, I can fill down with a 90 and it will update all the scores at once by selecting this over here. You can also fill across if you have several assignments. So that is how you actually enter an assignment in a grade. You can also go here, you have assignment list or you have a score sheet. Oh, I also have to save and continue before you leave. So whenever you enter scores, also make sure you save and continue at the bottom. So this will give you the average for the class. This is for all their scores. You notice this one student here has no grade because they were exempt from that assignment because it was not assigned. That's why it's got the gray lines across it. And then this is the letter grade that they're receiving for that. So that is simply how you enter a grade directly in the grade book for one class. And that's how we would do that. Now, this is the alternate method for those of you who are Schoology power users and really want to use the Schoology gradebook and sync those grades across. So I have my class here that has no assignments, but my grade book and my grades have not been set up yet. So in order to sync, this is crucial, essential, because a lot of people have contacted me and said, I checked this checkbox that says, so when they went to add materials and add an assignment in Schoology, they checked this sync to sys, but they didn't understand why it wasn't working because they didn't have any categories set up and they hadn't done their grade book set up to map all of the Power School portion. So I'm going to make a sample. This is going to be practice 2. And I'm going to put a due date of tomorrow on this just as a sample. And I don't have any categories yet, so I can't actually finish this. And I'm going to go ahead and create it. It's going to tell me I can't. So I'm going to have to create a new grading category here. And we're not going to do that. I'm going to actually put it as ungraded for now and go back and change it later. So what I was saying is we have to go and we have to do the grade setup. And that is found here on the left in any of your courses. Now, your weights are already imported in. This is correct. But you see, I don't have any categories defined for this class. So these categories have to match exactly what's in PowerTeacher Pro. So in order to do that, I need to make a minor. And it's going to be percent. And minor are how many percent? We don't want to drop the lowest. So we're going to hit create. And we're also going to do major. And I'll show you how we're going to weight it in just a minute. Here is the thing to weight the category. So we're going to weight it. And major, we know is 65. So we're going to put 65 and 35 here. So now we have that set up. That's important for our assignment so they weight correctly in the Schoology gradebook. But that's not all we have to do to get it to map to Power School. So over here again, we fixed that. We've got our categories. Now we have to go over to here to the Power School app that is on the side. We'll select Power School. And it's saying, hey, do you want to approve this? Yes, I want to approve it. And now we want to map our Schoology course categories to the Power School categories. So it's simply just going and selecting major and minor. We're going to select to automatically shorten assignment titles. And we're going to save the changes. Now that part is done. Okay, so we've done our mapping. We set up our grade book. We set up our grade categories. We've done the mapping. So I'm going to go back to my materials. And I'm going to edit this assignment now that I actually have set up my categories. So now I can go, instead of ungraded, this is a practice, I'm going to select minor. And then we have sync to sys select. So now I can hit save the changes. So this is an assignment that is due. I didn't give them any kind of things in here, but this is where their submissions will all be. When they've put in their submissions, I'll be able to grade it. It'll come over here to the grade book. This is where the grades will show up. And then once the grades are all in there, there's two options. Since this says here, right here, sync changes to Power School. we will do this often. Now, if you use this method, you cannot go back and change the grades in PowerTeacher Pro if you synced from Schoology. You need to make sure that you always change the grades in Schoology, then sync over. Now, one thing about this is if you use this method, this is your method that you're going to use for entering grades. Now, you could go over here and put a rogue assignment in that wasn't given in Schoology, that's fine. But as far as changing any of these assignment scores, they'll continue to reflect what is in Schoology, even if you change it in PowerSchool. So you need to make sure that this is what you're using if you're going to edit these assignment grades. One other thing with this is after the grading terms ended, it cannot be updated in here and will have to be updated in PowerTeacher Pro, which causes some issues. That's why I always say I prefer to manually enter the grades in PowerTeacher Pro, because I know that they're always correct. So you have the two options. One was come over here to PowerTeacher Pro. Once you're in your course, create the assignments. It's simple. You just select the class that you want it to go to. We're going to name this practice 3. I'm going to select my category of minor. I can select my due date of the 31st. Points, I can give a description here. I can unassign it from certain students by selecting show all. I have no classes selected, that's why I unchecked the class. And that's important. You saw it said no students were assigned, so that's why. But when I go to show all, now I can choose which students need the assignment. I can attach the standards here, and then I can choose how it's published. And for my case, I always choose never because I don't want the parents to see this because it's a sandbox. So I'm going to hit save and close. Pops up, do you want to score the assignment? It's kind of spinning, being slow. So it says score the assignment. I can go here, enter it just like a regular grade book. I also have the options to fill. Now I know there are some other buttons here. These are just things that we can mark it as, but it doesn't affect the grading of it. And you can enter the grades simply here. And this is the preferred method for doing this. And then you have the option of Schoology, but you have to make sure you go through the grade setup process, create your categories, weight the categories, and you see this changed back because I didn't save it. Major is going to be 65, minor is 35, not 135, 35. And I have to make sure to save the changes. If I don't save them, they won't save. So I save them there. And then you have to make sure you go to PowerSchool app on the side and you do the configuration. And that the major go to major, minor go to minor. That way it's weighted the same in both places. So the grade book should look similar in both places. And then after you've entered grades in the Schoology grade book, I've messed it up. Moving too fast. You can sync in here and you can also see the status of your syncs. You can simply just hit sync changes and it'll come over. So right now, if I sync this and it's queued up, this way you can kind of see what it looks like in PowerTeacher Pro when it pulls over. I can refresh. And once it has synced in, you see that it created the activity here. But if you enter the grades here, every time that Schoology syncs across, because it should sync quite often, that the grades will update. So there's no need to put the grade directly in here because it will override with the Schoology update. See, it's successful and it's reflecting what's currently in the grade book, which is nothing. If I came over here and entered 100, 0, 50, and then I sync the changes to PowerSchool and I come over to PowerSchool. Now I can see that the grades are there. So the sync will always overwrite. Those are just a few little details about inserting grades as we're in here in the 3rd week of school. Just wanted to give you a little update. We should be getting ready for progress reports and having some things in. So those are your 2 methods for entering grades in the grade book. The preferred method is always manually entering them in PowerTeacher Pro. But if you're a Schoology Power user and you really like syncing those across, we also showed you that method. I hope this information helps and guide you on the way. This was your Tech Tuesday update from the Education Technology Department. My name is Sydney Hampton-Sneed, signing off. If you ever need any help, feel free to email me at any time and I'll be happy to help you. Thanks.